You know what fascinates me is that the fact that we live in a society that people have real identity crisis, and them themselves they don't know, and us we don't know because we are not them, and we can't do anything to help them, not unless they do it by themselves. Let me give you a quick example. You see, 2020 to 2022 was a crazy period, a really crazy period. I was in a situationship with this guy. So one day he tells me, you know what, I can't be with someone who has trauma because I don't want to trauma bond. And I'm like, you know, that was my first time. I didn't know what trauma bonding was. I didn't know what trauma was. I only knew trauma is for the people who go for therapy, you know. And the fact that I wasn't going for therapy, I wasn't in a marriage setup or anything, I wouldn't say I had any kind of trauma. I didn't know. So because, as you know, if you have an identity crisis, you are a people's pleaser. That is number one about people who have identity crisis. So as I was trying to please or to people please, I tried to find out what this term trauma means and this term trauma bonding means. I started reading more about it, Googling, watching videos on YouTube, on here on TikTok. I didn't know what trauma bonding was, honestly. I had never even heard the word trauma bonding before until this person tells me. And actually, he really didn't want to trauma bond, yeah? You know? So I started digging and digging deep, and that's when I found out about my wounds and my traumas, my childhood wounds and traumas, and everything there is about the traumas that I had. And I started learning more and more about myself. I didn't know nothing about myself, and I came to realize most people, if not all, most women, let me not say women, most people, they have identity crisis. They don't know who they are. Funny thing is, they don't even want to find out who they are. And they end up attracting this kind of people. You end up attracting bad people. You end up attracting a mess and chaos in your life, and mix it. Worst part of it all, mix it with the drugs, mix it with the alcohol. And that's when you find making bad decisions. And then you mix all that with sleeping around with people. I'm not calling out on anybody who's sleeping around or who's adventurous or who's doing anything. You can do it. That's on you. But that is a lack of identity. You don't know who you are. And you know what? When you don't know who you are, you are also a pushover. I remember that period of my life around 2020 to 2022 when I had this identity crisis. I was so much deep into alcohol, and mostly it was alcohol. I wasn't an addict. I've never been an addict in my life, but this, you know, alcohol triggers your trauma. You know, so those people who are healed, those people who know who they are, they see it. They see it when you become chaotic when you're drunk. You know, when you start behaving in weird ways, when you're drinking until you're blacking out, and you're calling that having fun. And I'm not saying that every person who drinks and blacks out, he has trauma or something, but I feel like when you know who you are, you don't drink to an extent of blacking out and forgetting everything that happened when you're the previous night, you know. So during that period, 2020 to 2022, that is when I found out about my that is when all hell broke loose, and things weren't going as I had imagined they were supposed to go. And when this person called it out on me, that is when I started looking into it, and eventually found out that I had traumas that I hadn't healed, and I began my healing journey. And I can tell you guys for a fact, healing, it's so, how do I say it? Inakufufua. Honestly, it makes you, your third eye opens, you attract good things, and you just become, you're so peaceful with yourself. You stop all the people pleasing bullshit. You stop going where you're not wanted. That is something that I hadn't known before, because I used to go to everywhere that I'm not wanted, and I fix myself. I find a way to fix myself there, and you don't see it. You don't see it, you know? So let's begin this healing journey, guys. Let's begin this healing journey. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.